with those guys. And then Joe Bauer one day said, "Hey, Jeff, you ought to have your own legal show." And I never had thought about it in my life, although I did start out with the Joe Pine Show when I was 16 years old. Most of you probably don't know who that is, but Joe Pine was the inventor of talk radio. And he was insulting but funny. I used to listen to him. My mother thought I was nuts. Why am I not listening to the Beatles and I'm listening to talk radio? Well, I enjoyed it. I never thought I'd be a talk radio host. And I remember one day a lady called in and she was pretty wacky. And he said, "Lady, you've got the size of a brain in a railroad car." And it was pretty interesting. But it wasn't so politically animated as it is now. It was just stuff that people was doing. So anyway, that's how I got going on this stuff. So let's jump into one of the things. When I open my show on Sunday, or our show actually with Justin, we like to talk a little bit about what's going on for the week before, and there's a lot. And whether you like it or her or not, we have a new Speaker of the House as of today. A lot of people don't know what that means. What is the Speaker of the House? Well, the Constitution authorizes the House to choose their Speaker, but the Speaker is generally the leader, not of the whole House, but of the majority party. She gets to, in this case, Nancy Pelosi, who is the first returned Speaker in the history of, I believe, in the history of Congress. She gets to pick people that are in charge of the committees, just like the Republicans did last term. It's now she gets to choose who's in charge of these committees. And, of course, you've heard the rumors that there's going to be quite a few investigations and legal stuff going on. Yes, it's political. I get it. Welcome to our political world. I understand that. But the duties include presiding over the House, leader of the majority party, voting on legislation, administrative duties such as maintaining order in the House, appointing special committees. And the Speaker of the House is what, number 3 on the list of succession? I believe it is.
Yeah.
So you got president, you got vice president, and you got Speaker. So we got Trump. Something happens to Trump, we got Pence. Something happens to Trump and Pence, we got Nancy Pelosi, president. I understand some of you may not like her, some of you do, but it is what it is, and this is who we got. So I think it's interesting. I mean, we're going to see a whole change. A whole change. The House Speaker is responsible to bring legislation up. Whether they can get it passed or not, different story, but their job is not to obstruct or to, theoretically, or to create a bunch of political chaos. Their job is to bring bills up in the House. And then hopefully it goes over to the Senate and maybe they agree on stuff that they can compromise on. Now, a couple things I want you to know before we take our first break. The Joseph Gurney Canyon, 1903 to 1911. This is when the Speaker's power reached a pinnacle. He exercised tight control of the legislative process. He instituted the traditions of determining the agenda of the House, appointing members to the committees, blah, 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 choosing committee chairman. In 1925, Nicholas Longworth restored most of the Speaker's lost influence, expelling his opponents in the Republican Party from the Republican caucus. There's a lot of interesting things, and I'll just name a couple, and then we'll take our break, and we'll bring you on, and lots of other stuff. First Speaker of the House, Frederick A.C. excuse me, Muhlenberg, elected presiding officer in April of 79. Total number of speakers are 53. Longest serving speaker, Sam Rayburn. This was a classic. 17 years, 2 months, and 2 days, 3 terms as speaker. First woman, we already know that. That's Nancy Pelosi. State with the most speakers. Justin, what state would have had the most speakers of the House?
I'm going to say either New York or Massachusetts.
Yep, Massachusetts. Yeah, because... Yes.
Just going based on the amount of time they've been part of the country.
The only speaker to be the United States president.
Grover Cleveland?
You would not get it. James Polk, Tennessee.
Oh, that was my next guess.
All right, sure. Youngest speaker, 30-year-old. M.T. Hunter, Robert M.T. Hunter of Virginia. And the oldest speaker, Harry T. Rainey, 72 years old. And number of speakers to die, well, who cares? There's 3 or 4. But bottom line, as a speaker. So it is a big deal. It's going to affect, I know, even though we don't get into politics, it will affect that. And we are going to take... Okay, so we're going to take a break, and I think Jim is hanging out. Ready? Are you, Jim? Ready to hit the news? Let's do it. Tell me what's going on today.
A hit-and-run suspect who led police on a chase from Los Angeles County into North San Diego County was taken into custody after a 45-minute standoff this afternoon. The man reportedly ran over a scooter rider up in Playa del Rey and then withstood 4 pit maneuvers, finally reaching the I-5 and getting as far south as the Las Pulgas Road exit near Camp Pendleton. A San Diego-based U.S. Navy SEAL will face court-martial charges, including premeditated murder in connection with the 2017 death of an ISIS fighter in Iraq. U.S. Navy prosecutors accuse Special Ops Chief Edward Gallagher in the stabbing death of an injured 15-year-old ISIS fighter in Mosul. A bizarre incident at a Wells Fargo in Solana Beach this morning. A man entered the bank, told everyone inside to get on the floor, announced that he was robbing the bank, and then directed workers to call 911. When deputies arrived, they found the man inside with his hands in the air, and he surrendered without incident. You're never more than 15 minutes away from the top stories of the day on the Brett Winterble Show, AM 760, Talk and Breaking News.
We tell you about it, then we talk about it. AM 760, Talk and Breaking News. 760.
AM 760 traffic, still a solid traffic jam. 5 freeway southbound, approaching Las Pulgas Road in the Camp Pendleton area. Right lane is shut down because of police activity. The investigation of an earlier standoff, and traffic is much delayed. 5 northbound at Nobel Drive in La Jolla, getting rid of a stall right lane. This report brought to you by Indeed.com. Are you hiring? With Indeed, you can post a job in minutes, set up screener questions, and then zero in on qualified candidates in an online dashboard. Get started at Indeed.com/hire. Follow Armstrong and Getty tomorrow morning from 5 till 10 on AM 760.
Is credit card debt burying you alive? What if one phone call could help save you thousands of dollars? Years of stress and anxiety. What if one phone call, right now, could help save your family from bankruptcy? We're Credit Associates, and one phone call to us could help save you thousands. Because if you have more than $5,000 in credit card debt, you may not have to pay it all off. For free information on how we could settle your debt for a lot less than you owe, call 1-800-500-7226. There's no obligation, just free information. Sometimes all it takes to change your life is one phone call. Make your call now and we'll show you, for free, just how much money you could save. 1-800-500-7226. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk to call. This is too important to wait. Call 1-800-500-7226.
I love Central Flood Management. Why? Because they don't pass along their work to other companies in the water damage restoration industry. You know, many companies do that. One company may remove the water, another company might dry out the space, and another company might repair the mold or damaged walls. Central Flood Management can do everything from a small plumbing issue to a full reconstruction of your home 24/7. That's right. One local company you can trust with over 60 combined years of water damage restoration experience. Call them first. They have the state-of-the-art moisture detection equipment, a warehouse filled with all types of machines for drying and dehumidifying. They can even move and store your personal belongings. One company to do everything from start to finish. They'll work directly with your insurance company and help you file a claim and navigate the claim process. They advocate for you. They'll even give you up to $2,500 off your deductible. Restrictions may apply. From plumbing to reconstruction, save this number now. 1-800-553-5663. That's 1-800-55-FLOOD. 1-800-55flood.com. License number 751704.
Give us a call, we do it all.
1-800-55flood.com.
On Daily Blast Live, we're not afraid to say what's on our minds.
This is a culture that has been propagated by Hollywood.
I totally disagree with my co-host.
From the hot trending topics,
we are following what could be a bombshell,
to what's cool in pop culture.
Get real. This makes me really not like Chrissy Teigen right now.
Nothing's off limits on Daily Blast Live.
Keep believing it's okay and keep letting the heads roll. I'm so happy we're just having this conversation.
Weekdays at noon on the CW San Diego.
I'm Sergeant Christopher Lawrence. I know firsthand the importance of family to recovering injured warriors.
but many with severe injuries can't travel and have families far away. Every holiday season, Warrior Foundation Freedom Station reunites these warriors with loved ones, providing airfare, accommodations, and transportation whenever possible. They can't do this without your support. Only you can make this happen. Donate your unused vehicles, running or not, to Warrior Foundation Freedom Station. It's free, and you'll get a tax receipt. Call 855-450-GIVE or visit freedomstation.org.
The new year represents the promise of new beginnings and new possibilities. If you've been thinking about giving your home a new look and feel in the new year, consider the remodeler that's been trusted by San Diego homeowners since 1981, Marical Design and Remodeling. Here are Marical co-owners Gary Marical and Tom Capizzi.
Hi, I'm Gary Marical. Year after year, we built some great relationships with families all over San Diego. We're truly honored that so many people have trusted their homes to us. Now, as the new year presents new prospects and new opportunities, I'd like to wish each of you good health, happiness, and peace.
I'm Tom Capizzi. Gary, for more than 37 years now, Marical has been trusted by homeowners throughout San Diego. That's something neither of us take lightly. We truly appreciate and value the special connection we have with our clients. So if there's anything we can do to make your home more comfortable for you and your family in the new year, please let us know.
On behalf of Gary Marical and Tom Capizzi, Happy New Year from Marical Design and Remodeling.
Call Dr. Jeff Gray to get your dental wellness check for just $50. 619-780-3559 or Jeff Gray with an A, jeffgraydds.com.
We got a new Congress coming in.
The 116th Congress.
They're walking into a government shutdown.
When you need to know, turn to AM 760.
We're asking the president to open up government.
What's now?
Open up the government as we debate border security.
And what's next?
The $5.6 billion approved by the House is such a small amount compared to the level of the problem.
Nobody's going to win this kind of game. Nobody wins in a shutdown.
AM 760.
We all lose.
Talk.
And we kind of look silly.
And breaking news.
Welcome back, everybody. Jeff Isaac, the lawyer in blue jeans with Justin Isaac, here sitting in for Brett Winterble today till 6 o'clock and tomorrow till 6 o'clock. Hey, don't leave that dial. I know some of you are driving home and all that, and yes, we're not going to just hit all the political stuff and Trump's press conference. I guess there was a press conference today. It really wasn't. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to get into all the legal stuff and fun stuff and wacky laws and McDonald's law. And I mean, I got some stuff. But before that, Justin, I know you've got some things to talk about on 2019 law changes. Remember, there's 500,000 total new laws every year in the United States, state and county and city levels, and 2 million no regulations. So we're not going to hit them all, obviously, but we'll hit a few that might shock you a little bit. Justin, why don't you enumerate?
Well, there's a few California laws that I wanted to kind of go over. And, you know, I don't know if you've heard this before, but there's a new law that if you have a corporation, a publicly held corporation in California, you need to have at least one woman on the board of directors. So, again, we kind of talked about this on the show on Sunday too. It's more legislation to kind of force private people to
diversity.
Do things. Yeah, and it is kind of forcing it too. Now, New York came up with something, and I thought you might like this one, but New York now has a law that says you need to have, annual sexual harassment training. But I think California has that too, starting in 2020. But there is a new law that says that you can't force people to sign a non-disparagement agreement as a condition of employment or as a condition for a raise or bonus. And they've also banned non-disclosure provisions in settlements involving, sexual assault, harassment, or discrimination based on sex.
Do you think that came from some of the issues we've had with our president regarding the two ladies that have received money for non-disclosure?
No, I think it's more based on some of the things that have come out of Hollywood, because I think those have been a lot more prevalent. Harvey Weinstein had something built in to his contract that said, for every sexual harassment or sexual assault that is brought forth, you have to pay a fine, which is pretty crazy that they knew that this was happening so often.
That's an indirect, if not direct, inhibition of your lawsuit ability, your rights to a lawsuit.
Well, what, the non-disclosure?
No, and to pay a fine. I mean, that's
well, no, he would have to pay a fine to the company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not someone who's bringing the suit, which I just thought, and it looks like we have our first call from this too. I think that's I think this is it's somewhat controversial topic, I guess you could say, but the non-disparagement agreement, I think that's okay. I think that the other one too about, was it, non-disclosure agreements? I think that's kind of okay too. I'd like to look at the legislation itself, but I was wondering what your take would be on those two specifically, and the board of directors.
Well, I always do like both sides of the issue, but I will play devil's advocate. Those inhibit theoretically your rights under the Constitution to have free expression, to be able to do, to file lawsuits should you feel it there, and to sign away. It's almost like an adhesion contract. Mm-hmm. You want the job? Don't disparage me, even if I'm a a-hole.
Yeah. So legislation now says that you can't do that.
Okay. Well, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I thought so too. Because I think that, we should have the right for free speech within limits, of course. That's kind of how free speech works. But we should be able to say what we want and not necessarily face repercussions. But I don't know. I just thought those were interesting, especially the having one director as a woman for board of directors.
And that's for public companies,
public
not private
companies, correct.
And I think that's going to change down the road. It actually increase. If I can't remember exactly, but I read something that's just the first step, and there's another step coming up in the next year or two.
It seems like a lot of legislation. It's the same thing we talked about, that case where now restaurants have to serve by default milk or water. And,
to children.
And as part of the kids' meals. And again, my stance on this. I just
it's not taking away their rights. It's
not
advertising.
It's not, but it's starting the slippery slope of requirements that you do it the way the state of California says.
Well, here's
the
deal.
federal government.
And we love your calls on this, as well as the new gun control law, where you need several weeks of training. We need a live shooting test. 18-year-olds can no longer have own a long rifle. Pistols are it, which is really weird. It's not consistent. So here's the balance. The balance, folks, and I know that a lot of people feel the government shouldn't be involved in anything. And a lot of people think that the government should be involved in a lot. But the balance should be weigh the pros and cons of the positives of our society versus the negatives of too much government intrusion. Now, it's a tight line you walk, and I think it's fair. You have to evolve. The government. You can't say the government can't be involved in anything. That's just not.
And I don't think a lot of people would say that.
There are some, but
some anarchists.
But the problem is where that line is drawn and how you evolve. And I think the test has to be the most productive to society as a whole, and the least disruptive. So you look at both sides. But let's find out. I don't know if this is right on point, but let's check it out. Doug in Hamul. Hey, Doug, how are you?
Hey, Mr. Lawyer and Blue Jays, you actually did my living well a couple years back with my wife at a theater in Spring Valley. It was off, I think it was off of Kenwood or something. But you actually did it. I actually met you, and I was really impressed, and we were really happy with your services. I want to give you that right out front.
Hey, thanks, Doug. Appreciate it.
But here's the tough question. I'm a precinct inspector. I've been one for about 6 elections now, and I want to talk about the ballot harvesting law that California passed, right? And we weren't trained at the Register of Voters about this new law take effect. In fact, even on the back of the mail ballot envelope, it says that you still have to be a relative. It only has to be somebody that you're a relative, like a house. If you drop off more than one mail ballot, it has to be like your husband, wife, brother, sister, something like that. It can't be like 1,000. And I just want to know if you think that new California law violates the National Voter Registration Act of 1993.
Well, tell me a little bit more about the ballot law that passed. I'm not that familiar with it. What does that impose? How is that interactive, and how's that working?
Okay, it makes an addendum to the law that says it's a section of the election code where instead of saying a relative, your husband, wife, or your brother, sister, someone you know dearly, if they drop, say they go to the poll and they bring in their mail ballot, well, they could bring in their mail ballot and they could bring in their relative's ballot, but they have to sign their name and print it on the back of the envelope, right? So there's accountability. This new law that takes effect that says that one person can go collect like 1,000, who knows how many mail ballots and drop them off at the register of voters or at a polling station. But we were never trained that. Nobody told us that during training that this could happen. There was a change in the law. I think they snuck that in. And I just don't know if it validates the National Voter Registration Act of 1993. And if it did, a real attorney general should have took California to court.
Well, you'd think they would have, but do you have the law in front of you?
I'm looking up the National Voter Registration Act of 1993.
Well, my gut level, but I'll tell you this. I mean, obviously, we see some stuff. Where is it? North Carolina, I think, that with the senator, where he hired somebody and there was, allegations of there was 905 votes that he won by, the Republican guy, and there was a claim, and the allegations are that one of his guys that he hired was picking up ballots, even blank ones, and filling them in for other people. So it would lend itself to that. I don't like that. I mean, voter fraud is something we should encourage people to vote more, and I think extend the time. I don't know why we wouldn't give people every chance possible to vote, but that does cause potentially a big problem if you are going around collecting your neighborhood's ballots and dropping them off where you can doctor them or
yeah, exactly.
No, I agree with you. I don't know the whole law. I'm looking for it because I did a whole bunch of new laws in our show on Sunday. But I don't see it.
Let me give
let's do this.
Okay,
let me put you on hold. We're
gonna
take a quick break and stay on hold with us, and we can continue that in a second. How's that sound? Jeff Isaac sitting in for Brett Winterble. Back right after this. Oh, to Jim. We're going back to Jim. Wake up, Jim. It's all you.
A terrifying morning for people in a Carlsbad apartment complex. We'll have the latest on this morning's fire next.
AM 760, Talk and Breaking News.
I'm Roger Hedgecock with the Roger Report. The Palestinian Center for Policy and Survey Research conducts a quarterly poll of Palestinians. Media coverage in the United States of this poll suggests that its findings are, well, inconvenient. The assumption among many Americans is that if given a chance, Palestinians and Israelis will live side by side in peace in separate nations. Palestinians answering this poll say otherwise. Respondents to the poll oppose the concept of a two-state solution 55 to 43%. 44% think that an armed struggle is the most effective means of establishing a Palestinian state. 28% believe negotiation is the most effective means. 23% think nonviolent resistance is the most effective. U.S. liberal assumptions of what it's going to take to bring peace to the Middle East have always been based on wishful thinking. I wish the results of this poll were given more widespread media attention in the United States. Seems to me U.S. policy in the Middle East ought to start, at the very least, with factual assumptions. That's the Roger Report. Now this word.
Well, listen, there's no better time to get your carpets cleaned than the new year, right? So let's start the new year off right with a clean home. Maybe getting your carpets cleaner than they've ever been. Maybe since the day you first moved in. Now here's the zero res difference you get. Today, just tell me, listen to KFMB. They're $89 special. You've heard me talk about Zero Res for a long time. You've never heard me give you an $89 special. Again, just tell me, listen to KFMB. Zero Res is the safe carpet, surface, and upholstery cleaner. They clean without using harmful toxic chemicals. I love that, especially I got two little ones crawling around over the carpet. I don't want a bunch of chemicals in my carpet because that's not really clean, right? You get the dirt out of it, but then you just replace it with a bunch of chemicals. That's just different and dirty. Not interested in that. My wife and I, we love Zero Res. I promise you will too. Tell me, listen to KFMB, the $89 special. Some restrictions apply, so give them a call. Commercial customers get free quotes, and a $14 water treatment fee applies. ZeroSanDiego.com.
ZeroSanDiego.com.
Did you see the car your brother drove up in?
Yeah, Mom, it's a Lexus.
A sporty Lexus NX Turbo F Sport from Lexus Escondido.
I know, Mom.
What's with the dismissive tone?
What? No, I'm just,
You should be proud to have such a brilliant brother.
I am.
He got such an incredible deal.
Yeah, he told me. You
Did
told
he
me.
mention the 6-year unlimited mile warranty?
Make your mama proud by getting big savings on an L-certified Lexus from Lexus Carlsbad or Lexus Escondido. Shop online at LexusCarlsbad.com or LexusEscondido.com.
Clogged drains again? Call Bill Howe Plumbing because we know drains. Our professional drain cleaning starts at only $96. Don't throw your money down the drain, as Bill Howe has been San Diego's most trusted plumber since 1980. Don't hesitate. Call us today for your free quote on all your drain needs, because we know how.
Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE. Bill Howe.
License number 488413.
We know how. With PatriotSoftware.com. Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. Payroll doesn't seem that hard. It's just pay rate times hours worked, right? Sounds easy enough. Well, payroll is easy as long as each employee's tax withholdings are properly set up and as long as you don't shoot yourself in the foot along the way. But payroll can be punishing for business owners like me who will assemble their kids' toys without reading the instructions first. We don't need to read instructions unless we're desperate. That's why Patriot Software offers payroll setup and support for free for businesses with up to 100 employees. Go to PatriotSoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of payroll free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
With PatriotSoftware.com. Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money.
If you're serious about selling your home in San Diego County, look no farther than our friend Dan Beer and the Dan Beer Home Team.
Please visit soldbydanbeer.com.
Blue Emu Lidocaine Cream and Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis Cream. Both are deep penetrating and odor-free. Beat the pain 2 ways and live life. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink. Available at nationwide retailers.
Now, from the studios of News 8, live, local, San Diego's talk and breaking news. This is AM 760.
Carlsbad fire. It's 3:38 on AM 760. I'm Jim Charvette. That's one of the stories we're following. First, a check on your traffic.
AM 760 traffic, 5 freeway southbound near Las Pulgas Road in the Camp Pendleton area. Right lane shut down due to police activity continuing. Traffic is backed up for a ways North County on the southbound 5. 805 freeway southbound at Palm Avenue, an accident earlier, right lane blocked. This report is sponsored by the Exogen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. For people over 65, the flu can bring serious complications. Fever can mean the flu, so check your fevers with the Exogen Temporal Scanner. It's quick, accurate, and easy to use. Follow Armstrong and Getty tomorrow morning from 5 till 10 on AM 760.
Several families were displaced today after a fire broke out in their Carlsbad apartment complex during the early morning hours. News 8's Amanda Shotsky has more.
Dark smoke and shooting flames billow out of an apartment complex in Carlsbad. A rude awakening for neighbors who alerted each other of the danger.
I heard that, get up, get up. There's on fire, there's fire.
It started just before 4 o'clock Thursday morning at the Elan Beach Point Apartments in the 1000 block of Chinquapin Avenue. Fire crews responded from Encinitas, Vista, and Carlsbad.
They found 2 units heavily involved with fire. Of those 2 units, we had 2 others that had lateral damage.
No injuries were reported. The cause of the fire is unknown at this time. A local animal rescue group has canceled a scheduled adoption event following a recent break-in at one of its supply sheds, one they are blaming on the cold weather. Volunteers with No Wagging Tails Left Behind found a homeless man sleeping inside the shed in the Midway district. Crucial supplies like harnesses, leashes, and dog bedding were missing. Robot deliveries have arrived at a California college campus. CBS News' Steve Kathan reports.
Delivery robots have been making inroads all over.
Excuse me. Thanks.
And they're portrayed as polite if something gets in their way in a video by Robbie Technologies, which is taking its robots to school. Pepsi is employing them now to deliver drinks or chips to students at the University of the Pacific in Stockton, California. An app sets the wheels in motion for the 6-wheeled robots. They'll get to more than 50 locations on campus, moving at speeds of up to 6 miles an hour. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
I wonder if we can get some of those in this building. Here's News 8's Heather Myers with your microclimate forecast.
Temperatures warming up across San Diego County. In fact, we're set to be warmer today compared to yesterday. Low 60s along the coastline, mid 60s for our inland valley communities. Beautiful clear skies across the county. And those clear skies without any wind means that tonight's overnight temperatures will drop down yet again. On AM 760, I'm News 8's Heather Myers.
Right now it's sunny and 60 in Del Mar. USD Torero's men's basketball team begins conference play tonight when they visit Santa Clara. Tip-off is at 7. There's more of the Brett Winterble Show coming up. AM 760, Talk and Breaking News.
AM 760, Talk and Breaking News.
Welcome back, everybody. Jeff Isaac, the lawyer, Blue Jeans, with Justin Isaac, talking law, life, and everything in between, sitting in for Brett Winterble. Brett, hope you're having a great vacation, hanging out, and you're probably not listening to the show. Well, you might be, but if you are, Happy New Year to you. We've been on Brett Winterble's show now for several years, calling in and also doing a legal minute. And when we get chances where he is ill or out of the studio, a lot of times we get to sit in here, and that's kind of fun. So Doug is on the phone, and we got a couple more minutes, Doug, and that is this. They call this the ballot harvesting law, and you're saying basically you're not a big fan, huh?
Oh, not a big fan. Wasn't trained by the registered voters when the new law took effect, so they didn't implement this training, but somehow it was implemented by certain individuals after the election and during the election towards the closing days after the polls closed. So it wasn't widespread training about this new law. And I just don't, I looked into the National Voter Registration Act myself. I'm not an expert, but I'm not a novice either, and I can't find anything there that relates to it. But, so I don't know if other states do the same thing before California changed the law. That means only your relatives can drop off mail ballots for you. And sign for the ballot, or do they have 1,000 people, 1 million people? One person can drop off 1 million ballots. The number is unlimited. Who knows? But so I don't know if that validates the National Voter Registration Act of 1993. But I do know this: I do know that the automotive voter law violates the National Voter Law. Two points. One is that it's called the honor system. It's a threat of perjury. You're signing the form or registration form before the law is passed that said under the threat of perjury that you're a U.S. citizen. You don't actually have to prove you're a citizen with a birth certificate. I mean, you could provide a birth certificate, but it's not recommended. It's not demanded. You don't have to show it. And so by not signing a form and just do it automatically, you're not. It lets the person off the hook. Also, under the AB 1461, if California puts a non-citizen on the voter roll by accident, supposedly, and they vote, that person is not held accountable under the law, which violates National Voter Registration Act. Of course they should be accountable. But that California law, just like immigration, like the sanctuary side of the law, is violating federal laws, and we don't have an AG that steps up and supports this.
Okay, Justin, you got a little bit of information on this. Is something we haven't, that's not our expertise, so I'm going to be a little limited in response. Justin, you have something on that?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at an article, and it's hard to know, I don't know the past part of the law, but I know that it says here that no one, they claim that there was no voter registration fraud or voter fraud with this. But the problem is, and I agree with you, Doug, it's hard to tell. What I would assume is we would need some kind of impartial, maybe even out of state, investigation into voter registration if there is some. But they say that there wasn't. I could see how that could, though. Sure. And how
but it could affect either party.
Oh, of course. Yeah, this is not one or the other. And Alex Padilla did say that he texted this that there was no voter registration, that this is democracy. And
he was also quoted saying that the laws don't benefit one party over the other, which makes sense. It doesn't. I mean, he who organizes best, but it has to go to the official at the election. It's not just dumped in a mailbox. But there's more to find out, and I agree with you. Part of it concerns me a lot. It is, I don't think it's a political issue, but we do know one thing, that when the president got into the office, he did say that there was a lot of voter fraud, and he put a commission together. That commission couldn't find anything. He disbanded the commission. But having said that, is there voter fraud out there? I'm sure there is. Is it significant? So far, nobody has been able to prove that.
Yeah,
but
I haven't
that doesn't mean, it's not there yet, and the commission couldn't even find it. So the president disbanded the commission.
Well, apparently the reason for this was because we want more access to voter. We want more people to vote, and so if someone doesn't have a relative who can't bring it in, so you may have someone on your street that can bring it in for you. And I get that, but maybe we need to look into a little bit more new technology in order to facilitate better voting. Why can't you vote with your phone? We can do everything with our phone. You can order a car or a pizza. You can FaceTime with someone across the world, and yet we can't figure out a system. I think,
but boy, that's going to be hard. You got to coordinate. It could get rampant. But Doug, thanks for the call. We'll check into it more, okay? Because we are not equipped to have the full goodies you had. You seem to have a lot, and I appreciate that. And we'll see what we can do to check that out. Okay. Do we have time for a call? Are we at a break? Okay, so we got Pam coming in. Want to talk a little probate. We got some other calls coming in. 1-800-760-KFM. Be happy to take your call. 4:00 hour. We should also have Dan Whitney come in here as well. We got lots of stuff to talk about, so I can't wait to get there. Jeff Isaac sitting in for Brett Winterble. Also attorney Justin Isaac here as well. We'll be back right after this.
President Trump is congratulating Nancy Pelosi hours after she was sworn in as House Speaker. Trump addressed reporters during a surprise appearance in the White House briefing room today. He then introduced a series of officials who spoke about the administration's achievements and efforts to secure the border. Overflowing trash and human waste has prompted Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks to close to the public. The parks in Central California said in a statement they have closed the gates to the parks and will likely remain closed for the duration of the government shutdown, which entered its 13th day today. You're never more than 15 minutes away from the top stories of the day on the Brett Winterble Show, AM 760, Talk and Breaking News.
We tell you about it, then we talk about it. AM 760, Talk and Breaking News. 760.
AM 760 traffic, 5 freeway southbound near Las Pulgas Road in the Camp Pendleton area. Right lane shut down due to police activity continuing. Traffic is backed up for a ways North County on the southbound 5. 805 freeway southbound at Palm Avenue. An accident earlier, right lane blocked. This report is sponsored by the Exogen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. For people over 65, the flu can bring serious complications. Fever can mean the flu, so check your fevers with the Exogen Temporal Scanner. It's quick, accurate, and easy to use. Follow Armstrong and Getty tomorrow morning from 5 till 10 at AM 760.
So I knew when I first met Adam Rizzo that something was different about him and about the way he did business. So we hung out some more and I asked him more about his life. And he grew up in Kentucky, and that's part of it. And his mom had a business that helped cancer patients. And his mom always told him that if you take care of the people who come through your door and you always do the right thing, then you'll never be out of people to take care of. It's a good Kentucky saying right there. So that simple lesson is one of the main reasons why Palomar has continued to grow year after year and keep their amazing reputation, and why I love them so much. So if you appreciate a handshake that means something, call Palomar Solar. This is why Goodwill San Diego and Waxy and many, many other businesses have chosen Palomar Solar, but residential customers, that's their bread and butter. So if you don't like the pushy sales rep, I have no interest in that. Call Palomar Solar and see if solar is a good investment for you. 760-504-0388. 760-504-0388 or palomarsolar.com.
You've worked hard for what you have. Hi, I'm Jason Labrum. You've got one shot to get this right. Are your life savings, retirement money in the hands of a broker or a fiduciary? If you don't know, or you don't know the difference, call us for a no-charge consultation. A broker sells products that may or may not be in the best interest of your family. Here at Labrum Wealth Management, we're different. You want somebody who's nimble, local, and accountable. We believe in good communication with one another, a team approach, and we believe the confusing advice you hear is often by design. And in the end, that results in confusion and higher fees for you. And it doesn't have to be that way. Let's meet. There's no obligation. Find out why we've been able to help thousands of people over the last 20 years in San Diego. When you succeed, we succeed. 877-707-8889. Online at labrumwealth.com. 877-707-8889.
Hey guys, do you hate Viagra? What if you could get off Viagra for good? Arc Men's Health has a new treatment to get you off of Viagra. Acoustic wave therapy is the new way to treat erectile dysfunction without any medication. Call 619-400-3484. That's 619-400-3484. Get off of Viagra today. Visit us online at arcmenshealth.com or call us at 619-400-3484.
On Daily Blast Live, we're not afraid to say what's on our minds.
This is a culture that has been propagated by Hollywood.
I totally disagree with my co-host.
From the hot trending topics,
we are following what could be a bombshell,
to what's cool in pop culture.
Get real. This makes me really not like Chrissy Teigen right now.
Nothing's off limits on Daily Blast Live.
Keep believing it's okay and keep letting the heads roll. I'm so happy we're just having this conversation.
Weekdays at noon on the CW San Diego.
Hi, this is Kyle Kraska, and if you're thinking about selling your home, listen carefully. Now's the time to act. San Diego's real estate authority, John Reeves with Reef Point Real Estate, has been telling you for a while now that the San Diego real estate market is slowing. We've been recommending and telling you about John Reeves for a long time. It's critical that you work with an agent that you can trust and has a track record of guaranteeing your success every time in writing. John nets his sellers 5% more money and sells 3 times faster than the average agent. John Reeves sells a home every 27 hours. How does he do that? Well, John already has the buyers. Over 5,000 ready buyers in his database looking to buy right now. So your home could already be sold. Don't call just any realtor when you can have San Diego's #1 realtor that gets results working for you. Call John Reeves now at 858-800-HOME and start packing. That's 858-800-HOME or jrhasthebuyers.com. jrhasthebuyers.com.
We will have so much winning that you may get bored with winning.
AM 760 thinks you're a winner.
You could win a pair of tickets to see Dr. Jordan Peterson at the Balboa Theater on January 25th. Tickets are on sale now.
Visit 760kfmb.com for your chance to win.
Welcome back, everybody. Jeff Isaac, the lawyer, Blue Jeans, sitting in for Brett Winterble. We have attorney Justin Isaac here. We got some great stuff coming up, and we were kind of talking a little bit about voter fraud. Pam, I'm going to get to you in a minute. I promise you. Hopefully before the break on probate. I want to answer your questions or hear what you have to say. But let's go to David real quick on voter fraud in San Francisco. David, welcome to the show.
Yeah, how are you, Jeff? Long time no talk. I used to call you on your Blue Jeans show.
Oh, my gosh. Well, we're still on Sunday mornings, 9 to 10, but thanks for calling back in. We love you.
Yeah, no trouble. I was going to recommend, have you ever interviewed Greg Palast?
No.
Well, he's been writing, ever since we're 19 years past the 2000 election. Greg Palast gained public prominence because he discovered that there was a company called Choice Point, and Choice Point was it started out as a private eye company. They were hired by the state of Florida to take illegal voters off the voting lists, and it turned out that their inaccuracy rate, their failure rate, was 94%, and they had taken so many people off the voting lists that the 2000 election was skewed. And it actually took, I'm trying to think if it took 4 years or if it took 8 years to get those people back on the list. The Republicans in Florida fought so hard to make sure that those people stayed off the list, even though they knew that 94% were inaccurately taken off. They had found a Sam Smith who had committed a crime in 1922 in Montana, and they took a Sam Smith off the voting lists in Florida in 2000. So those people were denied their vote, But Choice Point went on to become the biggest contract for Homeland Security by the 2004 election, and they had been given all 50 states plus the military. And so, if you remember, by the 2004 election, all of the troops in Iraq and Afghanistan had submitted their absentee ballots, but they were denied because Choice Point found that they were not living at home anymore. And so the troops were not able to vote in 2004. So when the earlier caller there was just talking about federal election laws, they're basically a farce. If you look just in this current, the most recent election over in Georgia, the Secretary of State who is running for governor, Secretary of State is responsible for running honest elections. He committed so many frauds that it was unbelievable. He screwed the troops. He screwed pulled many scams similar to what Choice Point had done. They had taken absentee ballots and had given them a return address that was fraudulent. So they gave them a fake return address. It was printed on the envelope for return address for the absentee ballots, and so tens of thousands of ballots were not counted because they didn't get back in time.
Was that adjudicated, the courts, David?
Do you remember the woman who was running for governor in Georgia finally gave up because the time ran out?
Yeah, and, but I think and I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm going to say it's alleged. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Not really. I mean, people have taken photographs of those return addresses on the absentee ballots. They know that they were printed wrong. And in fact, when you get into the 2000 election, you remember hanging chads.
Yeah.
The printer that was putting together the card stock for the ballots noticed that the card stock in the bid submission was too thick, that it was going to guarantee to fill up those chambers too fast and create hanging chads. He told the Secretary of State, he told Jeb Bush, and they said stick with the thicker cardstock, and it guaranteed the fraud. So.
Well, look, I understand what you're saying, and I think there's going to be a lot of people who disagree, but at the same time, we just need to agree on one thing. We need integrity in our election, and we need good systems to make sure of that. I think we all agree on that, or at least we do. And thanks for your information on that, David. I really appreciate it. Pam, I promise you at the top of the hour, if you can stick with us, we'll get to you first. And then anybody else,
1-800-760 KFMB.
You may have heard that Online Trading Academy is offering a free 3-hour investing class to help you kick the new year off right. Maybe you're saying to yourself, I don't have time for that. Well, let's see. What else can you do in 3 hours? You could clean your closet, you could play a round of golf, or you could attend one of their free classes where you can learn how to earn income in the market and achieve a life of financial freedom. In this free class, Online Trading Academy will show you how to generate income by identifying low-risk, high-reward opportunities. They'll even show you how to avoid making the two most common mistakes that investors make all the time. Don't miss out on 3 hours that can change everything. It's a new year, and you owe it to yourself to get this right. Call 866-630-TRADE. That's 866-630-TRADE, or register online at otaclass.com. Call now, and they will send you home with a free investor kit just for attending. It's 866-630-TRADE, 866
What's now? What's next? You need to know. AM 760 KFMB San Diego.
The new Congress. It's 4 o'clock on AM 760. I'm Jim Charvette. That's one of the stories we're following. First, to check on your traffic.
North County, good news from CHP. Earlier police activity wrapping up. All lanes open now, 5 freeway southbound at Las Pulgas Road, but lanes have been shut down for quite a time there. So traffic is still extra slow in North County southbound 5. Chula Vista 805 freeway southbound at Main Street, an accident clearing. This report sponsored by the Exogen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. Are your kids ready for cold and flu season? Infants and young children have a good chance of getting the flu. Check for fevers with the Exogen Temporal Scanner, the #1 choice of pediatricians and the most accurate.